Awesome. Thank you, Christine. And thank you, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity. My name is Reed Matthews. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Smart Vinyl. I was previously a founder in the music industry for 8 years, and our last company generated over 3.5 billion streams and millions of dollars paid out to artists. Smart Vinyl is a new format of physical music that allows owners to unlock album experiences with their smartphones and artist-branded toys and collectibles. But before I go further than that, I kind of want to set the table and say that I think artists and labels generally rely on people that do not sell music, DSPs, to sell their music, and I think that gives us a large opportunity. Consumers want more products in connection with their favorite artists and albums, but there's a lack of viable product offerings, and we sell collectibles that unlock digital fan experiences and networks. Right now, there are millions of active, overlooked consumers. I'm sure everyone's heard the stat that 50% of vinyl consumers do not own a record player. I think it's wild the music industry uses that stat as a chance to champion vinyl, and not be alarmed that means there's around 40 million Americans that are buying physical music formats that they can't listen to, and we haven't provided them a viable, modern solution. So we're building products for the billions of fans globally that interact with billions of smart vinyl compatible devices each and every day. Ultimately, we want to reinvent how the world interacts with music. So how does this work? You tap physical collectibles with your smartphone to unlock album experiences. Each album is reimagined as an artist-branded physical collectible that unlocks web-based audio players and effect controllers. The collectibles do not require any power, Bluetooth, or batteries, and access can only be authenticated with the physical collectible itself. Link sharing fails. Below, you can see some of our standard audio players and effect controller templates, and we have patents pending. On the back end, we give artists access to a user dashboard that has user data, analytics, and most importantly, the ability to assign modular templates and interactions to their collectibles. We're starting with an audio player and effect controller, but we're quickly moving into video players, exclusive content, community features, and paid upgrades, which will allow owners to upgrade their collectibles, and artists can publish updates to each product over the air with a simple click. We wanted to make a product that was valuable across the entire music industry. I believe there's a lot of valuable IP and copyright, and we want to provide artists and labels the ability to quickly turn any album into a premium product and a new product category without much artist engagement or content required. So at our very base level with the audio player and effect controls, it's very easy to port in existing content and not need additional work from artists. This is valuable across frontline, catalog releases, obviously for anniversaries as well, movies, soundtracks, video games, live events, and seasonal. I'll be quick here with the stats because I'm sure a lot of people have seen these, but I'll call out a couple that I think are interesting. It's been 8 years since Apple last sold a product with a CD player capability, and there's a 200 million unit global deficit in vinyl production capabilities. So that's the deficit of what artists and labels want to make that they actually can't with manufacturing bottlenecks. There's a lot of streaming numbers below. I'll be brief on that. I think that the biggest issue with streaming still is that people expect streamers to sell music, and streaming platforms are for the most part trying to actively devalue artists and albums. I do think there's a lot of new behavior and opportunities that's exciting. 42% of Gen Z wish artists provided more merchandise opportunities. And last year alone, there was around 90 million physical music formats sold in the US. The global licensed goods and merchandise revenue in 2022 is $340 billion. The largest sector in that is entertainment and characters at around $140 billion, which is around $40 to $50 billion more than the entire music industry. Out of that $340 billion, though, music was the quickest growing at 26%. So I think there's a very valuable overlap there, and that's what we're trying to capitalize. Again, we're not trying to compete with streaming. We're not going after the long tail. We're going after super fans, the 20% of fans that drive 80% of revenue. These are the fans that know their favorite artists and know who they want to buy their products from. Our back-end experience. Again, my name is Reed Matthews. I'm the CEO. I previously led Coachella's mixed reality strategy for 3 years. I was the co-founder of an artist management company with over 200 million streams. And my previous company, a music video and creative service company, has over 3.5 billion views on our content for artists. I partner with all major labels, independent labels and management companies and festivals, and I've worked with artists like Blackpink, A$AP Rocky, Marshmello, Greta Van Fleet, and more. My co-founder Tyler is the head of product. He was previously the founder of Crypto the Game, and he was the lead marketing engineer at Party Round, which was acquired. We're just finishing all of our product now, and we're partnering with 2 artists for releases coming up in spring and summer. We're going to be fundraising later this spring, but we're looking for any early commitments now, and also looking to obviously onboard artists and catalogs and labels as well. Looking to talk with anyone that's also interested about the idea, and looking to build the team as well. So I think that's everything. I guess the final closing part is this quote from Chris Dixon I think is really relevant. The next big thing in technology often starts off looking like a toy. And that's all.
Wonderful, Reed. Thank you so much. Reminder to everyone that's watching, we are open for questions. And I will kick off with the first question. So what type of artist do you think this makes most sense for? Who is the target audience right now, you would say, from an artist perspective?
Yeah, I think right now we're going after hip hop artists and then catalog artists. I think hip hop is very receptive to new mediums and technologies, and I have a lot of relationships there. I think there's a lot of cool opportunities to activate across album anniversaries too. I think that we're quickly trying to push to become accredited across as many charting platforms as we can, or like, I guess, official charts. And as soon as we get that, I think it'll be a lot more relevant for a lot of frontline artists. But really right now, we're trying to activate across artists that have IP that they want to build in these very kind of in-depth artist worlds. But I think there's ways to integrate whether it's songs or album artwork or music video details into these products across pretty much every artist.
Amazing. Okay, cool. And then I have one more question for you. So with regards to what category do you feel like this falls into? And like, do you think of this more as a merch play? Or do you think of this more as a distribution physical play? When you're thinking about how it fits into the chart system, for example, how do you expect people to classify it?
Yeah, right now, the way we've architected everything, it's trying to fit into the physical format. And we're taking a lot of inspiration from drop cards and how they've done that. I think that eventually we might find ways to tie in more of like a merch play and figure out how to create different bundles of here. But I think initially we don't want to try and confuse the charting platforms. So trying to keep it as streamlined as we can and then expand our offerings from there.
Fantastic. And I have a question from the audience as well. William, how will the collectibles be manufactured and how will the cost of manufacturing be funded?
Yeah, so we're going to handle all the manufacturing costs on our side, or that's our intended vision. And we actually want to be less competitive with artists and label marketing budgets and recording budgets, since I know that that's already very limited. And so we want to actually have a licensing model where we pay artists an upfront advance, and then after recoup, they continue to earn money on each unit. But we're intending to cover the manufacturing costs with our partners. I'm sure on a case-by-case basis, we can figure that out, though.
Fantastic. And I think we have one more from the audience. Eileen, why did you start this business?
It's a good question. I think working in music and more the creative and digital side for the last 8 years, it was really exciting to see how deep these artist worlds go and what you can create. But I think that I got lost in that whole streaming game too, where you kind of lose track that you're not really selling a product as much. And I think that it was really interesting to try and figure out how do we create a product that we can sell versus necessarily just like more of a service or distribution. So kind of lean more into this. And I thought there was an interesting opportunity that people weren't looking at with physical. And there's no reason we can't make a modern physical format versus just looking at modern software.
Great. And then a follow-up from William. Will it all be self-managed by you guys as far as logistics and shipped to ours, or will you bulk run?
Yeah, I think, again, we can be flexible there. I think it's going to be dependent a bit on also chart eligibility if we get to that point, because I know a lot of that has to be first-party storefronts. But we're intending to handle all logistics and ship out for artists from like a D2C. And then also we could do a bulk run for it too, or one of the collectibles we're working on is actually out of festival. So we're trying to have a bunch of stuff out of festival this year.
Fantastic. We'll do one more question, and then we'll move on to our next startup. Kareem, he's a great presentation. How will this benefit an artist in the developing stages?
Definitely. I think that there's a lot of value past even just those large scale artists. There definitely is a bit of a minimum number you need to hit. I think it's a couple hundred until it becomes valuable for like the artist in terms of the units economics. But I think it's just a way to start building your IP. I mean, I think that there's so many characters in artist worlds that people have seen but not been able to monetize. And you look at companies like Mattel that have Barbie and all these different brands they can build. And so I think that as soon as you can be creating characters and toys to activate across them, the better. And there's a lot of ways you can do that, whether it's like a premium product or limited releases and giveaways. There's a lot of kind of fun things we can lean into. So I think as long as the artist is starting to develop more of a catalog of IP and not just their master recordings, there's a lot of value here.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Reed, for your time. This was wonderful. Really interesting idea. We're going to move on to our next startup. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.